So what we're doing here is we're loading the game under the... This is how we originally found the performance graphs. This is the alternative game loop with plus enough fixes actually to make it run.
Yeah, ready. And then we need something else, don't we?
No, that's just if we want to enable... no, there isn't another patch, because that's just... that includes all of this up to Crash 4, and then that's if we actually want to get into the game.
Which we do briefly.
Yeah,
but
we have to run that.
Okay, run. Alright, so
this is how we first found it. So this is the alternative game engine.
Yeah. This doesn't respond to controls at all.
So in this version of the game engine, this screen is not skippable.
No controls.
This screen is not skippable.
Yeah. Can't skip this screen, gotta wait for it to play out. Doesn't matter what controller I'm using.
And you can see the performance graph is here on this screen.
And not complicated.
And it will disappear now. So this is the alternative game engine, as I say.
You haven't got it turned on. That's the other thing you need to send.
What?
The graph.
We don't want the graph on the screen.
What do you mean we don't want the graph on this screen?
That's not the point. That's not what we're testing. We're just showing off the... I was going to say, like, the demo.
Alright.
I'm just going to show this off in its... So, one thing is the demo doesn't play. So no matter how long you spend on this screen, this version of the game loop will not play the demo. So this is how we... I'm just showing off, like I've explained several times, I found the...
It mutes the sound and that's all it does.
So it mutes the sound, but there's no demo. So that's one of the weird things about this version of the game loop, is there is no demo. I speculate some timer is not correctly running.
Would you mind giving me a bit of patch so I can go into the single?
Well, I was going to say we want to crash it, don't we? But yeah.
But I also want to show the... Come on, there's more weirdness than that. What are you even doing?
We hate him.
So without doing this...
we
without doing this, we can't actually play the game.
So we just put 2 more fixes in, which are necessary to make the single player menu work.
Yeah.
And need a lot of other menus.
Yeah, so... We could turn on the graph as well, but we're not going to, apparently. So yeah. Most of this looks fairly normal, but when you actually get into the game is when things get a little different.
Let's
see. Maple Freeway might be a good example. First of all, this sound effect. Just kind of does what it wants and disappears.
It plays a strange sound effect there.
It goes bull, bull. And then graphical effects are going to be missing. Such as my wheel turning, drift sparks, drift charged, wheelie sparks, and other various effects like that.
So we speculate this is it's pure speculation, but we think this is an early
no animation on these, I've just noticed.
Yeah. I think it has all 2D animation missing, because I think those are rendered in 2D effectively.
Yeah, probably.
I think it just doesn't support 2D rendering.
No boosts and stuff like that, so... No sound
that's a good point. It might not be loading BRES, that might be why,
Either way, that sound effect sounded
But given what's changed, what have we changed? Well, we changed the main game loop, so the standard order of things it does every frame. I'm guessing it's just missing the call to, like, do 2D graphics, basically. Do sound effects, you know. I think it's just missing those calls. Because presumably the early builds didn't have them, so they didn't bother.
Anyway, the engine is sync stable. I've tried playing Ghosts on this, and it's the same. There's no physics difference.
Sync stable as far as we can tell, yeah.
Yeah. As much as it always was, but anyway. Yeah, I've not seen any differences in objects either. But yeah. So that's how this game engine plays. It's somewhat different, as you can see.
So you can crash it, can you, by going to...
All I need to do is start VS Race and that'll crash the game.
Okay.
It's not smart enough to do.
So we'll crash the game here deliberately in order to show off the other feature of this version of the game loop, which, like I say, I think is just a coincidence, but that it will... it
has an exception handler.
It has an exception handler.
Alright, ready?
Brace yourselves. It does make an annoying beep, but it probably won't because it's a...
No, it's a loading screen. There it goes.
There you go.
And if you've got a video recording, you can easily watch the entirety of that screen.
And actually, this is... Interestingly, there's a gap at the top and the bottom. I don't know if you noticed, there's a black gap at the top. If there was a game behind it, this would actually be showing on top of the game.
Yeah.
So it renders on top of the game. So like you'd be able to see if it crashed in the middle of a race, you'd be able to see the race in the background.
Yeah. It
sort of draws a black box over the top, and then the game would render behind it. So this is the other weird thing about this version of the game engine, is this screen.
Yeah.
Like I say, as far as I can tell, there's nothing special about the game engine that makes it only show up on this one. You know, I'm sure this would be possible on either version.
Yeah.
From a debugger's point of view, I would find this screen annoying because it doesn't have the registers, which I would really quite like. But it does have SRR 0 and the DAR is quite useful.
And the stack.
And the stack. So you can have a guess.
It was good enough for us to work out how to make the game run in the first place.
Well, we used this error screen to fix game loop, the game loops.
Yeah.
Which was broken.
Yeah. So there's the exception screen.
So there you go. That is the exception screen. And as you saw it animated at the beginning, doing a scrolling text to show the full stack.
Yeah.
Because the stack doesn't actually fit on the screen. So it stopped now on the top of the screen, but it did a scrolling animation.
Yes, indeed. These kinds of screens normally do not have Japanese now. They tend to type them in English.
Things like this, the question is whether it's the actual developers of the game that made this, or is it more like the developers of various bits of the Wii software that made this. You know, different teams around the world will make different parts of the Wii software. I doubt the Mario Kart Wii programmers are responsible for this screen.
Yeah.
It's more likely to be, you know, a more fundamental team, you know, working on generic game stuff, because it's not specific to this game. But yeah, you're quite right. It does look like a PC crash. It is, you know, it's a blue screen of death. Effectively, it is the exact same thing. Yeah, the same reasons why Windows will display a blue screen of death is the same reason why this kind of screen shows up.
Yeah.
It's just the thing with Windows and so on is that it doesn't have. If a program crashes, it doesn't crash the whole system. Whereas on the Wii, because the only program running is the game, if the game crashes, that's it. The whole system's gone. So, no, this isn't the brick. It's just a temporary thing.
The process was like, I don't understand what you're telling me to do.
Yeah.
Please turn me off and on again.
Yeah.
And so I will.
But if Windows crashes, if Windows itself crashes, that's why a blue screen of death occurs. Not because a program has crashed, but rather because the whole operating system has crashed. Exactly the same with this. If the game crashes, because it's the only thing running, the whole thing goes.
Yeah.
Whereas, for example, on the 3DS, I believe if the game crashes, it boots you back to the system menu, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. They built in an exception handler. It
Yeah.
was my inspiration to go, oh yeah, of course we could just handle exceptions in CGP. I'm pretty sure that was my inspiration. It was like, oh yeah, they're just handling exceptions. We could do that too, because when an exception occurs, it branches somewhere, which means you could do things.
Yes, Dimitri, and actually I found evidence that those messages are also sent to OS Report. It calls both. It calls OS Report with those messages, and it also renders them to the screen.
Yeah. So no matter what, you get to hear it, you know.